I'm out early on this beautiful morning taking a few photographs, and at the moment I'm photographing this beautiful scene behind me here. At the end of the video I'll show you the image that I've captured and you'll see it properly. At the moment the video is maybe slightly overexposed for the highlights, just so you can see me a little bit better as I talk through this video. But I'm using a couple of simple techniques to photograph this scene in order to try and get a better end result, a better photograph. And I thought it would be useful for a few people to make this short video discussing the techniques I'm using, and maybe you can incorporate it into your own photography. So the two techniques that I want to discuss are framing and trying to add depth to your images. So as I was walking along, I was drawn to this hill in the distance. There was some nice light on it. But as I walked along, the hill obviously looks nice. There's a nice sky, there's nice clouds, but there was no real interest to the image. There's quite a lot of wide open space. So what I wanted to do was try and include some other elements to give a sense of context and a sense of focus to the actual image. So by exploring, I've found this nice spot I'm in at the moment, and it was a wonderful opportunity to use framing. So as you can probably see, I've got this tree here at the left hand side, we've got trees above, we've got a nice tree in the right, and then we've obviously got a path and so on at the bottom. So it's like a perfect picture frame really. And the idea of framing is really to draw your eye to a point in your image, the point that you want people to focus on. It's got many other uses as well. It can be useful to block out distractions. So the fields behind this tree here, for example, if this tree wasn't here, it would be a bit boring, quite empty at the left hand side of the image, and it would be unbalanced as well. So it's quite useful for a number of reasons, but typically it's for drawing the viewer's attention to a specific part of your photograph. Something else I quite like to do with framing is if some of your frame can be quite dark or darker than the main subject. So the end resting point for your eyes in this image is obviously the hill in the distance, and it's getting some nice light on it. This tree's in the shade, there's some maybe dappled light on it. The tree to the right is getting some light on it. There's some dark areas as well, and it's dark around the base as well and above here. So I've got a slightly darker frame, and the brightest area of the image is through the center of the frame where I want your eye to be led. So that's framing. It's quite an effective technique to use. You don't need a complete frame all the time. You can frame something just by having something at the left and right of your subject. The other thing I want to talk about, the other technique, is something I'm doing to try and add depth to this image. So when we're looking around with our eyes, we can see things in 3D and we've got a wonderful sense of depth. But sometimes our images, once we get home and look at them on a screen or in print, they can look incredibly flat. The sense of depth is lost when you take your image and view it in 2D, such as in a print or on a screen. So what I'm doing here, and actually I'll just describe how the scene looks to my naked eye before I describe the technique I'm using. But as I stand where the camera is and I look out at this scene, the tree here on the left, the tree on the right, they look similar size, and the hill in the backdrop is very large. So if I was to photograph this scene at a focal length which mirrored what I see, I know when I look at the image at home it's going to look quite flat and lack depth. So what I'm doing is photographing this scene at 14mm ultra wide angle, and because the camera is reasonably close to this tree, it looks really large in the frame. Then the tree on the right is a bit further away, so it looks smaller in the image than it does to my eyes. And then finally the hill in the distance also looks much smaller as well. the biggest part of the image here, and then the tree is slightly smaller, and then the hill is smaller further away. So that's going to really help give a sense of depth to the image when I view it on a screen or in printed form. So that's it really. I just wanted to make a very short, simple video which I think may help a few people out, give you a few ideas for your own photography if you're starting out, framing and looking at different ways to try and add depth to an image. I hope you found this useful. I really do appreciate you watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.